Hello, divers. Welcome once more to the one, the only, and don't believe what podcast things say, the Deep Dive Podcast. This is where each episode we strive to find something, God help us, anything, to watch on streaming media. And we are knee deep into season 5.
That's so weird.
It is
so weird.
It is so weird.
Horse and pony show has been going for 5 years.
Just about, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just right now. I think it's just ennui.
And we're not, and we're still not rich.
No. You're still not rich.
You know, all those endorsements that we're not getting.
Oh yes. Anywho, I'm Tom Feeney, writer for Wings Chop Movie Magazine, and joining me here in Studio D is my co-host, the magnificent Mandalorian. Hello,
That's
Manda.
me. Hello. Speaking of Mandalorian. Yes, we are both grooving to that.
Oh yeah,
because it's so good.
Disco Star Wars.
It is a Star Wars minute.
Yes, and we have some new news. That just came over the wire. I don't know what wire it is, but it's a wire.
the Wi-Fi wire?
I guess must be, or the blue teeth.
The blue teeth. Anyways,
I'm with it.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. No, but as of today's recording, we did have a trailer for The Mandalorian season 3.
Yes.
Very exciting, premiering March 1st.
March 1st, that's like right around the corner.
And it wasn't actually a sort of, it wasn't a trailer, was it? It was a teaser.
It was a teaser. I feel sufficiently teased.
Oh, I'm excited. I am so excited because now we get to really see, you know, Mando in all of his true dad form, right?
Yeah, true dad, man dad.
And I hope we get to see Boba Fett. I hope he makes an appearance.
I hope. And, you know, you never know. We might see Ahsoka again.
Oh, yes.
Or we might see Luke again.
I mean, Ahsoka's coming out this year at some point.
Yeah.
So
and there's
excited.
even, you know, there's rumors going all over that there may be an appearance by the not dead Mace Windu. I don't know. So we'll see.
See, that's going deep into the lore.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
we don't profess to know everything, but we do know some stuff.
Oh, I know everything.
Yeah, you do know everything.
I kind of do.
So anyways, yeah, very exciting.
It is. It is. But aside from all of that, how have you been? It's been a while, so how have you been, Manda?
Well, you know, I'm alive. But you know what's interesting? If we go way back...
And thanks for telling us all about yourself, man. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, and notice you have the Jurassic Park Ranger vehicle.
I do.
Yeah, I have that one too. I have the collector's edition. It's really nice.
I just saw the latest one, the latest movie.
Yeah, before anybody says anything, I know, okay? But I'm just going to say the fact that the original 3 were in there, it made my heart light.
I liked it. I actually didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah.
But I'll go into that in another one.
Yes.
Probably I'll review that movie. Let's be real. So yeah, you know, we've been off for a little while. We've been kind of hitting those deep dive, the minute one, the 10-minute long episodes, the micro deep dives, which have been great. But as a duo, we haven't been here since like, I don't know, I think like before Thanksgiving, maybe?
Around
Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We both went to England in beginning of December, although not
Separately.
at the same time. Yeah. You went like the beginning of September or of December?
Like the end of August, around there.
Oh, okay.
Just before my kids' school started.
Right. Okay. We went mid-December, and it was to surprise my mother-in-law for Christmas, which was great. She cried. It was hilarious.
In a good way.
In a good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Just making sure.
But then I came home and got the flu. And I gotta tell you, I don't think I've ever had the flu in my life, if this is what the flu was. Because
it's a bad one this year. They're saying.
Nightmare.
They're saying it's a bad one.
I had what they call flu type B. Yeah, I don't know. There's A, there's B, then there's other stuff. But my doctor was like, she actually said that, I haven't seen flu this bad in many, many a year.
And that's what you want your doctor to say.
Well, I mean, I think she was like, flu, actually, in her words, flu wanted to make COVID jealous.
Oh. Good job, flu.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's in our age group, so it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I'm alive. Back here. We're good.
Excellent.
You got sick too, though.
I did. So here is my my timeline of events. So yeah, I did. My family and I, we went to Ireland and then England, which was great.
Yes.
Had a great time. Came back, and then in the first week of December, we went to Disney World.
Oh yeah.
which was great. Which was great. It was an extended family trip. So there was a number of us.
Oh, nice.
That went, and we had a great time.
Aunts, uncles, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So then, of course, one night we decided, we were going to splurge, and we did the after party.
Okay.
So they have a thing where you can pay extra money, and then the park closes, but you get to stay.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And it's like it was the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or something like that, it's really cool because the park is very empty.
Oh, nice.
And the rides you can go on, and you can just ride them, and there's no lines. It's great,
cool.
and there's like special treats and things like that. Special
How much does that
foods.
cost you?
Yeah,
It's a good amount. Okay.
It's a good amount. Yeah. But it was great. It was great. And then some of my compatriots at the time just said, "Oh, let's go on Splash Mountain."
Oh, yeah.
Because they're closing it and remodeling it.
Yes.
Because they're taking out all the racist elements. So basically the whole thing.
You better get it in while you can.
Yeah, get that racism in there while you still can. Zippity doo dah. So, and I was like, I'm going to pass on that. I don't want to get wet.
Right, it's December, but even in Florida,
in Florida, it's still a little chilly.
Yeah.
And I was wearing pajamas. Don't ask. I was trying to get into the spirit. I was wearing pajamas. So I passed on that. So fine, whatever. And then we're like, hey, let's go on Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm like, great.
Well, yeah.
I love Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we get in the boat. And for some reason, the adults are all in one row in the boat. So for some reason, that made that, and we were near the front. So it made that section pretty heavy. So when we went down that first little drop, right, I got soaked.
Yeah, of course.
I was sitting on the end. I got soaking wet.
It's like at Canopy, Boston Tea Party.
Yeah. So I got out. I'm freezing because it's, because I'm wearing a wet T-shirt basically, and not the kind that you want to see.
Yeah.
So I had to go buy a new shirt.
Of course you did.
Because mine was soaking wet.
Right.
And then, the next day we go home, and I get super sick with pneumonia.
Oh my God.
So I blame that awful, smelly pirate water.
Yep. Yeah.
And the weather.
I mean, here you are in Florida with Florida type water in a ride.
All that bromine that they pump into that stuff.
God, that's almost worse than the flu.
Yeah, it was awful. So the pneumonia was unpleasant to say the least.
Oh.
I had lungs I didn't even know I could cough up.
It's so interesting because you had pneumonia and then I had COVID earlier this year. When I had the flu, didn't really have a cough. There was no coughing involved with my flu.
Yeah.
But there was pain beyond reckoning, fevers, and all that fun stuff for 2.5 weeks.
Wow. Jeez.
Kicked me in my butt.
Yeah. For me, it was the entire middle of December that it killed me. I had to, this is weird. I don't have asthma or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this was the first time in my entire life that I used an inhaler.
What is that like?
It's weird.
Yeah, I've never used an inhaler before.
It works. It's cool. It opens up your lungs and all that, and it's kind of interesting. But I've never had to do that before.
Oh,
so
weird.
it was kind of a unique experience. So I was like, okay, I'd rather not have to use it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's kind of terrifying.
But I'm okay now. You're okay now.
Yes, on the mend.
We're all okay now.
Yeah.
My daughter is sick.
Yeah.
But that's fine because
Sorry,
it's not
Katie,
me.
It's your turn.
It's your turn, and it's not me, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So there we are. Now we're all kind of caught up.
We're caught up. Yeah, it's a new year, 2023.
Yes, indeed.
As of recording, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes, absolutely.
I think is really in the spirit of, give to your community kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's no presents involved. No trees, no candy, nothing
the
like
gift
that.
of understanding, I think, is what binds us all together.
Too bad we don't have much of that.
I know, right? Yeah, so.
But yeah, we're coming together for a special January episode.
Yes, and if you have listened to, I did a Mysteries of the Deep a couple of weeks ago that sort of talked about why some films are dumped into theaters in January.
Yeah.
Because the studio usually has no faith in them.
Right.
This time, there was a huge kind of a difference this month because of a particular movie
called Megan.
Megan, exactly.
Megan.
I just say Megan.
But could it be Megan?
I know that it's making a lot of money.
Oh.
But I'm bummed. So yeah, it's but it's got that title where it's got the 3 as the E and the Megan.
What do they call that? It's something. There's a word for using letters and interchangeably with numbers.
Really, I didn't know that.
I just can't remember the name of it.
Okay. So I'm figuring that the next one they're going to change the A to a 4 because that's how they usually do these things.
Wait, but wouldn't that have to be the 4th movie then?
No, not necessarily. The 4th edition of Megan.
Okay.
Or if there's going to be multiple Megans, instead they'll put a number 5 at the end that looks like an S. So it'll be Megan's, but it's a number 5. See that?
Ooh. Yeah.
I should be hire me, Hollywood. I'm good at this marketing stuff.
We already have our own podcast.
Yes.
So like,
yes. Now I have. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen Megan.
I have not yet.
Okay, I have seen it,
and
it is very entertaining.
Okay.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's not going to change anybody's life,
right?
But it's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit of something to say about kids and screens and like social interactions and stuff, but it doesn't hit you over the head with it.
Right.
But mostly it's just fun.
Okay.
It's a fun movie, and definitely, and it's making a ton of money.
Yes.
It is. It has been a huge success for Blumhouse, who has been like the leader in horror films over the last decade.
Right. Which is that they would put a movie out in January.
Yeah, but the one thing that they did, the viral marketing for this has been amazing. Mm-hmm. They really built up the hype around this.
They did, yes.
And they took advantage of the fact that this is a post-COVID January. Mm-hmm. So there's really not much out there for anybody to go see in the theaters.
Right.
So they basically said, okay, here we're going to push this movie that we have faith in.
Yeah. And
it worked. People have going to see it from what I understand, as of the weekend, it grossed before this weekend $45 million at the box office against a budget of around $12 million.
Oh wow, more than triple then.
Yeah. So I think we'll be seeing sequels or a TV series. You never know.
Yeah, I mean that's tricky though, because sometimes TV series they just do not match up to the movie. Exactly. But you know what's funny about, or not funny, but I think it's really interesting about Blumhouse. They chose to do this whole this marketing where people didn't realize that. Yeah, sure, we're not in some weird post-apocalyptic time, but we are post-pandemic kind of. Yeah. And I guess maybe people didn't realize that we lived through it, and now what is there?
Yeah, we're kind of on the other side of it.
Right. And the world has changed.
The world has changed. I think it's not going away. I mean, there's going to be variants and things like that. We're all going to get boosted, Yeah. But it's just one of those things like the flu that we kind of have to wrap our heads around. That's going to be around forever, perhaps.
It is, right? But I mean, you could kind of think of yourself as, surviving some sort of apocalyptic event. Yeah. And then here comes this movie, and it makes you kind of think like, oh, wow, we actually did survive that.
We kind of did. Yeah. And then there's the whole other thing that it addresses, which is, of course, the emergence of more and more sophisticated AI.
Yes. Which, did you know that people like myself who kind of get a little freaked out by that are called technophobes and algorithmophobics?
I did not know that.
So the technophobe is really like, hey, I'm afraid of technology and I'm afraid of it getting too advanced for me, because of course humans like to control things. But the algorithmophobia is more like, actually I saw it in Reuters, so who knows if it's real, but basically people who are afraid of algorithms taking on a life of their own, because algorithms of course predict things, right? And so AI and algorithms together predict things, get more smarter as they go. Fear of I Am Legend. I'm scared.
Now that's, and see, this is the reason why I am always so polite to Alexa and Siri.
And
because, I'm always, I say thank you. I say please.
You're weird. You do not.
I do, because I know that one day these things are going to become sentient and they're going to remember who was nice to them. And I'm very polite. I'm very polite to the AI. So they're going to keep me around.
But they're also going to look at you and be like, maybe not the most optimal human we can harvest. You can hang out over here.
Hey, you know what? I'll take any position that they want. I will just, I will be the spokeshuman. I'm okay with that.
Nice.
So be nice to the AI. Say thank you. Say please.
Thank you, Siri.
Don't yell at it. Don't call it names. Just, chill. Just chill.
Just chill.
That's fine. Now, of course, you can always talk about the whole, Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum warning. Just because you can't do something doesn't mean you should do it.
Man, I love
and technology has always superseded our ability to control it or use it properly.
He's just so smart.
Yeah, and that's one of the big problems, because we're very smart, but we're also very dumb.
also very limited.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're limited by time in
Right.
itself. We've only been around for, what, 160,000 years?
Yeah. And, technology can change in leaps and bounds. People don't change.
Right.
They stay the same,
Yes.
which is why the technology can get away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you for listening to Boring Technology Show.
And you are now scared to go to sleep.
Yes, thank you.
But if you couldn't guess, that's our theme.
That's our theme, yes. So, because of that creepy little Megan girl, we're going to talk about like humanoid robots and things like that. So, they may look like people, but they're not. Don't be fooled. They're not people.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you got for us
Well,
today?
I will preface that my 2 picks are definitely a little more modern than I'm sure yours are, and they're not necessarily obscure. But I will say I researched this and I was terrified at what first of all, the movie The Humanoid. Have you seen it? Like the actual humanoid movie back from like 1954?
No, I don't think so.
It's terrifying.
Really?
It is absolutely terrifying because, of course, we're not talking about like major FX and Hollywood studios and stuff, but we're just talking about where the mind plays tricks on you. And I feel like directors knew how to do that back then. But ultimately, I didn't want to choose that one. My first one is from 2019. It is one of these brilliant Netflix-owned productions.
Oh.
It's called I Am Mother.
Mothers need time to learn. This facility was designed to give humanity a second chance. One that began with you. Daughter.
Mother? How were you unaffected?
Daughter. I know you're frightened, but you have no need to be. Have I ever done you harm?
It's just a matter of time.
This woman doesn't care about any future but her own. Her own. She's very dangerous. Dangerous.
I'm never gonna hurt you.
She's a risk we can't take. We can't take.
We have to go now.
Trust me. Trust me. Daughter. Your whole life I've taught you to see the bigger picture.
Interesting. Okay. That's a new one on me.
So it stars Hilary Swank,
Oh.
who I truly only know is either the Karate Kid or the $1 Million Baby. She's either a kid or baby. I mean,
Kid or baby?
Kid or baby. It stars Hilary Swank, and it's the basic premise here is there is, of course, and it always is, it takes some weird apocalyptic event to happen that erases humanity, right? And a sentient robot who is voiced by Rose Byrne.
Oh.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's a great
yeah.
actress, but what's weird about her is that she's not American, and her American accent is like on par. I don't even know. It's weird.
Interesting.
The sentient robot, helps create and deliver a baby, a human, a little girl, and raises it as a child. Now, the interesting thing is that there is always a line between showing genuine emotion towards this child and keeping her at a distance so that the child knows that she's a robot. She knows this.
Yeah.
And she knows that she is supposed to be this voice of humanity to basically bring all the great things from humanity into the future when the race eventually, quote, comes back. She's under the impression that, she's alone. She's the only human, even though we're told in the beginning of the movie that's not the case.
Oh.
There are other humans who are in, quote, embryo form. And I don't want to spoil it too much because you have to watch it and get into it. But in comes Hilary Swank. And she's an adult.
Oh, okay.
So she's not alone, and she's a survivor. And then the movie takes a weird, dramatic change. And you have to determine who you believe. Do you believe Hilary Swank, that the robots did this to us? Or do you believe the woman-robot thing that raised you your entire life, that said, no, I'm not part of those other robots that did that. I love you. I care for you. Otherwise, why would I have raised you to save humanity? Right?
Interesting. And robots don't lie. We all know that.
Well, incapable, right?
Yeah.
That's the
supposedly.
whole point is that they are free from emotion, but this robot is not, clearly. So it then becomes a war of the wits, as it were, and this woman or this young girl is caught in the middle, and it is freaky. It turns very quickly into a horror movie.
Wow.
Yes.
Cool.
I enjoyed it immensely.
Really? All right.
Yes, and it's new. It's not like it's you know, built upon, I mean, it is built upon decades and decades of like apocalyptic horror,
Yeah.
right? But it's no zombie flick. It's
Okay.
no like, you know, throw all the blood and gore at it. There isn't much of that, you know? There's the mind factor of like, I'm terrified. Am I the only one in the world? Right? Everything is resting on my shoulders, and yet here comes some other like woman, Hilary Swank's character. Oh, and by the way, nobody has names. So the robot is mother, right? The girl is just child or daughter,
Yeah.
and then Hilary's just woman. So it's just bizarre. It takes
Interesting.
away all that emotion of being a human, and yet you have to, throughout the movie's timeline, remember that you are human. It's good.
Wow.
It is very good. Now, I will say that IMDb didn't think the same.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
I mean, whatever. IMDb gives it a 6.7, right? So
Okay.
it's not wonderful.
It's not
great.
awful.
It's not wonderful. It's not great. Yeah. Metascore gives it a 64, so it's still not it's not too great. But luckily, it's one of these Netflix movies, right? And these Netflix shows, so it's going to be in rotation for probably, you know, dozens of years or
Till the end of
whatever.
time.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we can definitely say that Netflix they came out of the barrel with like their own production company and movies, and they just keep going. Like, I haven't figured out one thing that they've made recently that I didn't enjoy, you know? But yeah, so it's on Netflix right now. You can of course stream it if you have an account, or you can buy it. I think it was like, yeah, it was like $3.99 to stream it through that if you didn't own Netflix.
Cool.
But yeah, it's good to go.
I like it.
It's a good show. It's a good movie. It's a scary movie, but also like one of those weird like.
So it is a movie, not a series.
It is just a movie.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
cool. Very
Yeah,
nice. I
that's
like
my
that.
first pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was unaware of this. I typically don't watch the Swank, but you know.
Well, like I said, I've only seen her in those two things. So I saw her as a young, like, Julissa, wax on, wax off. And then I saw her as like, oh, my neck is broken kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I always figured they should put her and Jennifer Garner in a movie together so they cancel each other out. Same person.
Yeah.
Pretty
I mean, you've never seen them together, have you?
I have. So
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just, you know. I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
Just conspiracy theory.
Anyways, my
that I
first
enjoy.
pick.
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, for me, because I've been in a mood, you know, I really have scraped the bottom of the cinematic barrel
Ooh.
to find my first pick.
Wow.
I mean, I have dredged the depths
Yes.
for this. This is a movie so insanely bad that it truly deserves special notice. So you have to ask yourself several questions before you get into this. Do you like cheap action movies?
Depends.
Do you like cheap action movies from Hong Kong?
Oh.
Do you like fake RoboCops? Do you like vampires?
Yeah.
More specifically, Chinese vampires.
Didn't know there was a difference.
Oh, there is. We'll get into that. If you can answer yes to some of these questions, then you will go absolutely gaga for the 1988 Hong Kong-made Robo Vampire. Yes, I said Robo Vampire. There is so much cheese involved here that you can't watch this movie if you're lactose intolerant. Now, I'm sorry to disappoint everybody right now, but I have to say this is not a movie about a robot that becomes a vampire or vice versa, because that would actually be cool. Instead, we have this.
A futuristic android experiment clashes with a paranormal beast. In the spine, tingling tail with terror. Death leads to a new life. In a dark world where terror reigns supreme. Since Tom's dead, I want to make use of his body to create an android-like robot. Mr. Glenn, will you approve my application? You're sure to success. Innocent men and women are thrust into the living nightmare of a vampire incarnate.
Yeah, okay, so I'm sorry about the poor audio quality. It was the best I could do. But let me unpack this. A narcotics agent named Tom Wilde is murdered during a drug bust by a vampire.
Okay.
And not just any run-of-the-mill vampire, mind you. It's a gangxi, or Chinese vampire. Now, the thing about Chinese vampires that differ from regular vampires is they have a tendency to hop.
Hop?
Yes, hop. They hop around like undead bunnies. Now, the reason for that is typically Chinese vampires are, their feet are bound to keep them from wandering around and killing people, but they still manage to get around by hopping. So, yeah. So, if you're terrified of someone hopping around with their arms stretched out, trying to find you and kill you, yeah, okay, that's a fear, but, what are you going to do? Anyway, aside from that, in true Robo ripoff fashion, Agent Wild is transformed into a cyborg that makes him kind of look like a dollar store ninja covered in Reynolds wrap. Now, this Robo person, who doesn't really have a name, he's not like he's not like Robo Cop. He's just a Robo person.
Right.
So he's sent in to fight the vampires who work for the drug smugglers who also kidnapped a female narcotics agent and holding her hostage. I think that's what's happening. I'm not positive. There's lots of gunfire, poorly choreographed martial arts. And then Robo Guy has a final showdown with a hopping vampire wearing an ape mask and a robe. It's all it's all very confusing. It is. But in all honesty, that's not the most confusing thing about this movie. In fact, it's actually two movies that were spliced together.
Oh.
Nearly half of the footage is taken from another film that was made in Thailand 4 years earlier. So basically, the whole drug cartel subplot is taken from this other movie. Now, yeah, this means there aren't just plot holes. There are plot craters, plot chasms, plot fissures. It's basically incomprehensible. So, okay, why in God's name would I recommend this god-awful Franken movie? Simple. It may be awful.
Yeah.
Okay, it is awful.
Yeah.
But it's not boring. And that, to me, is a worse sin than just being bad.
Okay.
Can't stand boring.
Yeah.
This is not it. Now, before I get to the scores for this thing, I want to mention the director of Robo Vampire, a man named Godfrey Ho.
Oh.
He is nothing less than a legend in the pantheon of insane filmmakers.
It's always Asian directors.
And, oh, I'm telling you.
They're so, clever.
Oh, yeah. Now, the Internet Movie Database credits Godfrey Ho with directing 157 movies.
Wow.
49 of them have the word ninja in the title. I am not joking. That's a record. It has to be. And I guarantee you have never heard of any of them.
Yeah, well.
So let's take a look at some of these titles.
Gotcha.
All right. Shadow Killer's Tiger Force, Bionic Ninja,
Okay.
Ninja Knight Thunder Fox, American Commando 3 Savage Temptation.
Is there 1 through 2 though?
I have no idea. Then we have Zodiac America 2 Evil Destroyer and Thunder Ninja Kids in the Golden Adventure.
Oh.
These are all actual titles of movies.
Did that become Spy Kids in America?
Probably. I can't even imagine. But wait, there's more.
Ooh.
Yes, apparently Robo Vampire did well enough to warrant 2 sequels.
2.
2. There's Robo Vampire 2 Devil's Dynamite, which was actually made before the first film and has no robots or vampires in it. Then you've got Robo Vampire 3 Counter Destroyer, which is also known as The Vampire is Still Alive.
Oh.
So that one has actual robot vampires in it and yet manages to be worse than the other 2.
Oh.
So yeah, so this is a rabbit hole that I went down.
Yeah, I can tell.
And I still haven't climbed out of it, as you can see. But let's get to the scores. Oh my goodness. Robo Vampire. gets a actually fairly generous 3.4 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. And Rotten Tomatoes audience score is a surprisingly hefty 46%.
Yeah, I am very surprised it's even there.
I am too. So if you're listening and you're so inclined,
Why wouldn't you be?
yeah, Robo Vampire is available for free on YouTube, as well as the Tubi streaming service.
I love Tubi.
Yes, let me just tell you how much I love Tubi. Not only do they have Robo Vampire,
Yeah.
they have no less than 78 of Godfrey Ho's movies available to watch.
Oh, wow. They went all in.
This is what I consider to be a worthy public service.
Yes.
So,
Thank you, Tubi.
it's one person's treasure and another person's torture. So,
But I'm weirdly curious. So I think you did your job.
I hope so, because, if I can bring a little bit of my mania to others, that's worth it to me. So that is my first pick, Robo Vampire.
Which is neither robot or vampire.
Yeah.
Kinda really.
So there you go.
Good. Okay. Okay. So we're going to transition to something that I don't necessarily recommend that you watch. And we don't normally do this. We give you picks that you should watch because we enjoy them.
You don't normally do this, but I like to torture my audience.
Yeah. That's true. But I'm going to take a page out of your book here. I don't think that you should watch this film. And this film is called The Bicentennial Man.
Oh, that's one of my honorable mentions.
So this is a 1999 film starring the late, great, very much missed Robin Williams. Also, Oliver Platt, I love him, miss
He's
him
great.
too.
Treasure.
And it has my favorite Dr. Allen, Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Okay, so where do we break this down? So
Oh my.
we're talking about the future, and it's always, 50 years in the future. Everyone drives flying cars because we're as humans, we just can't come up with anything else.
That's so dumb.
Everybody downstairs. Come on, you guys, I got a surprise for you.
What is it, Daddy?
Wow.
By the year 2005,
Are you one's family? I guess so.
every home will have an NDR 114.
Andrew, this is very good. Thank you, sir.
I think it sucks.
Sucks. Chickens do not have lips.
He was designed to serve humans.
Would you please open the window?
One is glad to be of use.
Now jump. No! Out the window.
But there was something different about Andrew.
Two cannibals were eating a clown. One turns to the other and says, "Does this taste funny to you? How do you make a hanky dance? Put a little boogie in it."
What exactly is it doing? He shows a number of characteristics like creativity, curiosity, friendship.
Good night, sweetheart.
All right, Andrew.
It is a household appliance, and yet you act like it is a man. You're unique. I feel a responsibility to help you become whatever you're able to be.
This Christmas, witness one robot's extraordinary 200-year journey
He learns and grows all the time.
to become
This is an external physical upgrade only.
an ordinary man.
The secret to all this is imperfection. That's what makes us unique. I like the shape of your head. It's huge. Oh.
This looks wonderful. Take the next step. Complete your destiny.
From the director of Mrs. Doubtfire comes an epic story
I saw the inner me.
that will bridge the gap between man and machine.
I am the proud owner of a central nervous system.
You can feel.
Will you perform an experiment just for the sake of science?
All right.
Kiss me. It's everything they say it is.
Bicentennial Man.
Look what I'm doing here. I am trying to make something of myself. I am trying to fulfill my destiny. Does she notice?
Could we talk about this another time?
Sam Neill, Mr. Martin, decides I'm going to buy this fully sort of mostly sentient robot to help around the house because my wife would just love that. She would love some creepy man robot thing.
Yeah.
But no, behind her doing the dishes.
Behind her, yes.
You know what? This is a G-rated show.
I'm sorry.
So he does that without telling her. She has no consent.
Centennial Man.
She is not happy with it. Of course, you know, his kids are all like, one of them's like, I'm really excited. The other one's like, I'm a teenager. That's not cool.
Whatever.
Like, whatever, Dad. So he develops a friendship with this man who this robot he decides to call Andrew. By the way, Robin Williams voices him. Much like our own technology, Andrew gets upgrades really frequently. And with each upgrade, he seems to gain a little bit more humanity. Starts showing things about, cognitive forward thinking and emotional thinking and having an emotional response to something like a kitten. And so it comes to a head. Andrew just doesn't want to be a robot anymore. He's told Mr. Martin, all his family, as it were, and people he's met from the factory, other robot people who, for whatever reason, don't have this magical ability to become more human-like, that he doesn't want to be a robot anymore. So it then comes to a head. Mrs. Martin's like, get out, you're freaking me out, don't like you. He basically falls in love with the younger kid, the younger daughter, and she falls in love with him. It's so bizarre. At first it's kind of like a, hey, you're my younger brother, I love you kind of thing. Then she has a daughter, and then he falls in love with the daughter, and it's creepy. And at some point, he wants to get all his parts replaced with fake organs. This is where Oliver Platt comes in because he wants to give him robotic human organs and blood to make him as human as possible. And honestly, it creeps me out. It really creeps me out. The whole concept of it grosses me out. The whole idea of Andrew just being this guileless, just emotionally stunted, and yet you can't really normally say that about a robot, but emotionally stunted human wannabe thing that goes around and has to fight for all his rights to be human. And some people might see it towards the end and be like, oh, he got his wish. He got to basically pass away as a human with his human bride, and they got to marry each other and all this stuff. I just didn't think that it was cool. I thought it was creepy, and one of Robin Williams' least greatest roles. And I don't like saying that because I love the man, but I just don't think it was cool. It was set out to be this comedic but also dramatic film, and it towed the line a couple of times. And yeah, sure, Robin Williams, you're used to his witty humor, and there was tiny snippets of that in it, but in actuality, it was just a drama movie akin to Beaches. And there can only be one Beaches, okay? There's only one Bette Midler and Barbara Hershey.
You said it, Beaches.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think most people agree with me because IMDb gives it a 6.9 out of 10.
Yeah, people don't like this movie.
Yeah, they really don't. And I think it's because it's gross. And I think it's because he wanted so badly to be human that we're let's give you human stuff. Who wants to give up their organs for science only to know that they're going to be reproduced into a robot humanoid thing? It's just weird. Metascore was the same way. Metascore was in the high 70s, so I guess maybe or the low 70s. I guess that's okay, but creepy. You can only get it right now on Apple TV. I think that speaks volumes because nobody wants to carry this title. You can get it, we rent it on Apple TV for $3.99. But here's the thing. You can watch it once and you can be done with it for the rest. I don't think you ever want to come back to it. It's just weird, and it made me feel weird.
Okay.
So that's the first time I'm not necessarily going all out and recommending that. It's not a family-friendly flick like I would normally do. But yeah. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 36%. My bad.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Ebert, I think it was when he was still alive. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he gave it a pretty poor review too. But yeah. That's my second.
Okay. Interesting story.
Yeah.
Did you know that Robin Williams, that the character was not CG. He actually wore prosthetics and makeup for that.
It is cool,
Yes.
right? So he had to really learn how to move his face and arm and in such a robotic manner. That's cool. The dude himself is cool. The movie, not.
Okay, so fun fact. At the time Bicentennial Man came out, I was producing a celebrity interview program. And so basically, we, myself and my partners, we talked to Robin Williams about this movie.
No, you didn't.
And that's where we learned that he was like in a costume and makeup the whole time. But funny is that we brought with us to the interview, we brought a Mork from Ork doll.
Cool.
He was playing with it the whole time.
Oh, man.
And while the interview was going on, the little girl who was in that movie, I don't remember her name.
The Pepsi girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haley, something like that.
Yeah.
She came over and to the interview table, and she was like, well, who's that? What is that? And and Robin Williams was trying to explain it to her.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was really funny. And
man, that's a core memory.
He was great. He was really nice and everything, and
generous
and
of
awesome.
spirit.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a interesting. I have a little weird perspective on that movie. I didn't exactly care for it myself.
But I can see why that would have some sort of sentimentality towards you. Yeah,
exactly.
Like I said in the beginning, Robin Williams there aren't as many positive adjectives to describe him as I would like.
Exactly.
You know? And we miss him.
Yes, absolutely. He was a wonderful guy.
Turns out this was based on a book, by the way.
Really?
Yes, called The Positronic Man.
Oh, yeah, Asimov.
Yes.
That's right. I think Asimov.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
We talked to him about that.
Yeah.
He was a fan. He was actually a fan of his work.
Surprising, but okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So maybe watch it if you want to, but,
It's all right. Star Trek does better. Let's just say that. All right. Very good. That was awesome. Now, for me, for my second pick, we're gonna go into the little time machine.
Ooh.
We're gonna go back to the year of America's bicentennial.
Ooh.
Get it? It's a little segue there, Bicentennial Man.
Which
was 1976.
What?
Jimmy Carter was elected president.
Yeah.
Both Apple Computer and Microsoft were formed that year.
And Elizabeth I visited Boston.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And the energy crisis raised the price of gas to a whopping 60 cents a gallon.
Oh my God.
I know. How did people survive? Now, when I was a child during the 70s, none of that mattered to me at all. I didn't care.
Because you didn't have a license.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what mattered to me that year was my excitement for a new TV show that was premiering that fall. My second pick is the ABC television sitcom Holmes and Yo-Yo.
You've got 4 partners in the hospital. Come on, Alex, you're a good cop.
By the way, who's my new partner?
We call him Yo-Yo. He weighs 427 pounds. He's a completely mobile computer, specially programmed for police work.
Is he indestructible?
We think so.
Send in Holmes.
Yeah. Listen to that
This
music.
is top secret.
This is like
No
an
one,
1970s,
including Holmes, must know his identity.
platform
Alex,
boots.
no, don't.
You're not a person.
You're not going to
Kinda
tell
expect to
them?
see
In my
Shaft to
book,
come
you
out.
got the makings of a good cop. That's what I put in my report.
All right, so police detective Alex Holmes has a knack for getting his partners injured. So his new partner is an android named Gregory Yoyanovich, or
Nice.
Yo-Yo.
What was happening during the 70s with Russia?
Yeah. So no one is supposed to know that Yo-Yo is a robot, despite the huge 70s era calculator sticking out of his chest. And yeah, this is a comedy. Yeah, so basically they're trying to keep his identity a secret, but of course Yo-Yo can do all kinds of things that people can't, like super strong and all that sort of thing. So it's kind of like one of those, we have to make sure that nobody knows he's a robot, haha, and all that kind of stuff. So Yo-Yo was played by the incredibly versatile actor John Schuck. Now, he has played everything from Daddy Warbucks in a Broadway production of Annie to a Klingon in 2 Star Trek movies. Now, in Holmes and Yo-Yo, he shows off his considerable comedic chops, playing kind of a clunky, awkward robot trying to learn how to be more human, while employing all kinds of like Inspector Gadget devices that are always malfunctioning. So I think they may have gotten the idea for Inspector Gadget from this guy, because it was, it was like, oh, I'm going to do my flame-throwing finger, and it just doesn't work. So, yes, childhood me was enthralled. I had no taste. I wanted to know everything that Yo-Yo could do. I thought it was cool and funny, and I loved it. But nobody else did.
Yeah.
It was canceled after 13 episodes.
Aww.
And was called one of the 50 worst TV shows of all time by TV Guide. I was devastated.
Yeah.
How could they do this to me? Don't they know that I'm the arbiter of taste? That television, I should be the one to decide what TV shows live or die?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. Now, of course, that is certainly not the last time this premise would be used on TV. A few years later, there was a show called Future Cop on ABC. In the 90s, there was a show on NBC called Man and Machine, which had a female android cop. And then, as late as 2013, Fox aired a show called Almost Human with Carl Urban as the cop, as the robotic. So, it was it's a tried and true kind of thing. You've got, the tough as nails veteran cop and an android that doesn't know how humans work. So, okay, I get it. It's fun to mix genres once in a while, cop show, science fiction, that sort of thing. But in most cases, it just doesn't seem to work out very well.
Right.
So let's talk about some scores. Now, there's actually an Internet Movie Database score. It gives Holmes and Yo-Yo 5.9 out of 10.
Unexpected, but yeah.
And there is no Rotten Tomatoes score for this. Now, if you would like to see Holmes and Yo-Yo, and why wouldn't you? You can find most, if not all, episodes available for free on YouTube. Binge it if you dare. You will never be the same again.
Okay.
So Holmes and Yo-Yo, cop, sitcom, robot, 70s. What else do you need? So.
Okay.
That's my second pick. Now, I do have some honorable mentions.
Yes, me as well.
Bicentennial Man was one of mine. So that's out. So there was a 1986 movie called Deadly Friend.
Okay.
Which was Wes Craven.
Oh, Wes Craven.
And it was about a young girl played by Christy Swanson who was killed, and a computer chip was implanted into her brain to revive her, but it didn't have her personality or anything.
Okay.
It's a bad movie, but there's a great scene where she decapitates a woman with a basketball. So yeah.
What?
Yeah, she throws it so hard it decapitates a woman. Great scene.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned, of course, we talked about Bicentennial Man. Another sort of kind of disturbing, dystopian robot movie is AI.
Oh, I thought
Artificial Intelligence.
Machina.
Ex Machina.
Yeah.
I was going to put that in there, but I decided.
Yeah.
But AI by Steven Spielberg.
Always a good time.
Always a good time, but he was directing, he was basically finishing a movie that had begun production by Stanley Kubrick.
Oh.
And so he basically took over this movie and tried to direct it as if Kubrick directed it. But it is a depressing movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, the ending is like really weird and all that. It looks amazing. It is it's just gorgeous to look at.
Yeah.
But it's depressing to me.
Which is weird because Steven Spielberg usually makes bangers.
I mean, the action scenes, in Schindler's List are second to none. But
we shouldn't laugh at that.
I know. And I'm looking forward to seeing his latest, The Fabelmans, which I have not seen, which is kind of interesting. So that's another one. Daryl from 1985, Daryl, about a little 11-year-old looking robot.
Yep.
And probably one of the more obscure ones, one that I actually saw in the theater back in the day, from 1991, Eve of Destruction.
Oh,
which is about a female android that is basically kind of an infiltration robot who's supposed to act and behave human, but inside is like a dirty bomb, like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And she goes AWOL, goes missing, and they have to track her down before she explodes in a city or something like that. It had Gregory Hines in it, and it was okay. But those are my honorable mentions.
Well, you mentioned one of mine too, and that was dun 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 Inspector Gadget.
Yes, Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, 1980s cartoon, a Saturday favorite for every kid out there. Also, one of the only 80s cartoons to have like a multitude of video games, like 15 video games based on that.
Well, yeah, you would think.
Because we had Inspector Gadget, Gadget and the Gadgetinis, so much. But if you're talking like human cyborg that's kind of a really lame but also lovable detective with his niece and their dog called Brain that fight a man with a cat, it's great. It's brilliant.
You mean the movie, right?
No.
I didn't think so.
We don't talk about the movie. That's called ruining my childhood.
Oh my goodness.
And then
goodness.
My last one's a bit of a stretch, but if you just pardon me. Wall-E.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess between Wall-E and Eve, there's like a person in there somewhere.
Why is it that all female androids are always called Eve? It's bizarre.
No, I don't think it's bizarre in the way that because Eve is traditionally the first woman.
Well, yes.
So this is like a woman, like the first woman robot of a generation, or I don't know. I get the reference to it.
Yeah.
But then and if that's the case, then why isn't every male robot named Adam?
Exactly. But anyways, those are my two choices. This was a good episode.
Very nice. Very nice. I like that. Yeah.
I had a great time.
It's pretty
talking
cool.
about it.
Yeah.
And I also think that if you have time, you should check out that Godfrey Ho's library on Tubi.
I am telling you.
Tubi came in the clutch, and they were like, we're going to give you pretty much anything that you can digest.
It is the dumpster diver of streaming services. And I mean that in the best
possible way. They also have like a lot of these really indie films that I like too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
so yeah, here's what I do. I make a game out of it. So I will activate the Tubi. And then what I'll do is I will just type in a year.
Ooh.
And see what comes up, like
Nice.
1972, and see what comes up. Because I always find something really interesting or obscure or cool.
Yeah.
And I'll do that with other services, but Tubi really makes it work.
That might be a good, interesting plot for a show.
It's fun. Yeah, you just type in.
Like we pick a year.
Yeah, you pick a year, and then you type in the year, and you see what movies just pop up.
Man.
It's a fun game.
It's a fun.
I love it.
And don't do it while you're drinking, though.
Well, you could.
I mean,
as
you
long as
could.
you're home.
Yeah. But okay, well, thank you so much for listening. If you got through this, we appreciate you
made it
more than
through.
you know.
Oh my.
If you want more of this, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You should check out our website, thedeepdivepodcast.com, where you'll find the vast library of all of our episodes, including our Halloween Horror Month. I mean, I think we're pretty famous for that by now. We also have a merch stand with limited edition run T-shirts.
Yes, on my lawn. No, wait.
And then links to our social medias. We love hearing from you. It's one of the best parts of doing this is interacting with our, dare I say it, fans.
Yes, and you have to yell a little louder because I'm hard of hearing.
If you want to get in touch with us, best way to do it is to email us, thedeepdivepodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us, and we're pretty active on Instagram and Facebook and the Twitters.
Yes.
All of that fun stuff. But if you want to have a great time, visit our website.
It's a great time.
For a great time, visit thedeepdivepodcast.com.
I'm going to start writing that on bathroom walls.
I'm doing it.
For a great time, listen to a podcast. What? Huh? Oh. Well, anyway, thank you all, once again, for listening. On behalf of Manda, I'm Tom Feeney. So don't forget to tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your personal assistant if you have one. And we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye. All clips used in this podcast are meant for educational purposes only and not to infringe on existing copyrights. The Deep Dive Podcast is a production of Automaton Studios.
I thought I heard something. It sounded like Megan.
If she comes in this room, I'll rip your head right off your neck, I swear to God.
It sounds like you're fighting.
We're not fighting!